The movie begins with two close friends, Katie, who is more reserved and uptight, and Sloan, who is free-spirited and promiscuous. They are excited about their upcoming trip out of town, where they will spend a month working at Ecofield Organic Farms. Their goal is to earn enough money to splurge on a shopping trip to New York City afterward. The next morning, Katie's uncle Jason, a police officer, picks them up. They spend the night at his house with his girlfriend before heading to the farm. While getting settled, Sloan suggests that they should use fake names while staying in the area. She chooses the name Heather, while Katie decides on Ripley. The following day, Jason drives the girls to a station where they plan to catch a bus to the farm. Being the protective uncle, Jason tells them to establish a safe word in case of danger. His rule is that Katie must send him a different code word every day, following alphabetical order at the end of each message. Their first safe word is apple. After Jason leaves, the bus is still an hour away, so the girls wait at a local cafe. There, they attract the attention of two local men and end up sharing a table with them. Using their new aliases, Heather and Ripley, they introduce themselves, while the men reveal they are brothers named Jed and Lucas. The brothers offer them a ride to the farm. Although Katie hesitates, she eventually agrees after noticing Sloan's silent urging. The girls climb into the brothers' blue pickup truck, but soon realize something is wrong when Jed deliberately drives past the farm, leaving them confused. Eventually, they arrive at the brothers' home, where their unsettling mother greets them and invites them in for tea before heading to the farm. Inside, Katie receives a message from her uncle, and she replies using their agreed safe word, letting him know she is okay. Meanwhile, the two women are served pie and tea, something they instinctively sense they shouldn't touch, but they go along with it anyway. Soon, their vision begins to blur, and they realize too late that their drinks were laced with drugs. In a panic, they attempt to escape, but before they can get far, Jed and Lucas overpower them, knocking them out and dragging them back inside. By the next morning, Katie and Sloan awaken in terror to find themselves chained in the middle of the forest. Jed approaches, calmly informing them that this is now their new home, where they'll be forced to live. He provides them with only the bare minimum to survive: a few changes of clothes, a bed, and a crude toilet. In the following scene, the two friends are now dressed when Jed's superior, a man named Boris, arrives. He immediately checks Katie's confiscated phone for signs of anyone searching for them. While going through it, Boris uncovers that the girls lied about their real names and even notices the strange code word she had used in her last text. Pressed for answers, Katie and Sloan admit that Apple was part of a safety system arranged with her uncle. Once this revelation is out of the way, life in captivity resumes. Katie and Sloan prepare to wash themselves using a makeshift outdoor shower. But before they can, the local sheriff suddenly appears, brandishing a gun. To their horror, he isn't there to rescue them. He is corrupt, complicit in the trafficking, and has arrived with vile intentions. The sheriff assaults one of the women, Katie, leaving her shaken and broken. Later, Sloan quietly joins her, trying to comfort her devastated friend. Elsewhere in town, Jason starts to grow uneasy when he notices that Katie's most recent message repeats the same safe word from the day before. This immediately raises suspicion. Meanwhile, Jed and Lucas receive another client, an unsettling man we'll call the scruffy guy. He chooses Sloan and drags her into the trailer, and it quickly becomes clear that he's unhinged. Back with Jason, his worry intensifies. He decides to call Ecofield Organic Farms to check in and learns that Katie and Sloan never even arrived for their first day of work. Realizing something is wrong, he wastes no time and sets out to track them down. Things only spiral further for the two women. Another customer shows up, this one even more disturbing than the last. Wearing a grotesque pig mask, the man approaches while Jed and Lucas quickly pull hoods over the girls' heads. He singles out Sloan again, leading her into the trailer. When he finally leaves, Sloan is visibly shattered, more broken than before, while Katie can only hold her friend and try to comfort her. The next scene shifts back to Jason, who has now reached the sheriff's office. He comes face to face with the same corrupt sheriff we saw earlier. Here, it's revealed that Jason isn't just a local cop, he's an FBI agent. He lays out his suspicions, insisting his niece has been abducted. But in a questionable move, Jason openly explains his reasoning, telling the sheriff that Katie's last text exposed the danger because she repeated a code word instead of giving a new one. Back in the woods, the sheriff wastes no time tipping off the kidnappers, revealing that Katie's uncle is actually with the FBI and that Katie had been lying about the safe word. The revelation puts Boris on edge. He cannot afford federal attention threatening his trafficking operation. Without hesitation, he orders Jed to finish the job by killing both girls and disposing of their bodies. What they don't realize is that Katie has overheard everything and now knows their plan. Meanwhile, Jason follows his own trail. He retraces Katie's last known steps, heading to the cafe where he dropped the girls off. Questioning the barista, he learns a crucial detail: the girls were last seen leaving in a distinctive blue truck. The following day, Katie warns Sloan that their captors intend to kill them soon. Their fears come true when Jed and Lucas arrive, this time bringing the scruffy man along. Leaving him behind to guard the captives, they unknowingly give Katie and Sloan their chance. Katie plays into the man's twisted desires, luring him close. In a sudden act of desperation, she lunges and tears his throat open with her teeth, killing him instantly. With their guard dead, the women seize the opportunity to break free from their chains. Before they can escape, the sheriff himself shows up at the site, clearly there to make sure the women don't survive. But the tables turn. Katie and Sloan manage to steal his vehicle the moment he steps out. Racing back into town, the two head straight for a hardware store, preparing themselves for the inevitable showdown. They stock up on supplies, ready for payback. When they ask the cashier if he knows Boris, describing him as the man with the blue truck, the cashier nods and casually tells them exactly where Boris lives. Elsewhere in town, Jason continues to chase down leads. He heads to the local car insurance office, spinning a story about having been in a fender bender with a blue truck. Playing it off as casual curiosity, he asks who the vehicle belongs to, hoping it will bring him closer to the truth. Meanwhile, Boris has just returned home, unaware of what awaits him inside. Katie and Sloan have already broken in, lying in wait. They ambush him, hurling nail-studded tennis balls that shred into his body, leaving him bloodied and in agony. Now the power has shifted. Desperate, Boris drops his tough act, begging for mercy and even offering them money if they'll let him live. At that moment, Jason pulls up outside the house. Inside, Katie and Sloan press Boris for answers, demanding to know the identity of the man behind the pig mask. But Boris refuses to talk. Enraged, the women grab a crude spear they fashioned and drive it viciously into him, killing him in a grotesque act of revenge. By the time Jason enters the house, it's too late. Katie and Sloan are already gone, leaving behind the mangled body of Boris gasping his last breaths. In the following scene, the sheriff breaks the news to Jason that Boris didn't survive. The revelation only deepens Jason's fear, and in desperation, he tries calling Katie's phone. But before he can act further, the sheriff realizes his own cover has been compromised. Without hesitation, he pulls his gun, ready to eliminate the FBI agent. Meanwhile, Katie and Sloan arrive at a church, only to uncover the shocking truth. The man in the pig mask is none other than the town's priest. Sloan storms inside and comes face to face with her attacker. With Katie at her side, the two women finally overpower him, delivering their long-awaited revenge. As they drive off, the two appear lighter, almost carefree, as though they've shaken off the nightmare. But the illusion doesn't last long. When they pull over, it's revealed that the priest has been chained to the back of their truck the entire time. They drench him in gasoline and set him ablaze, watching the flames consume him before leaving the scene behind. Back in town, Jason's fate takes a darker turn. He is now the sheriff's prisoner, bound and powerless. To make matters worse, the sheriff has already ensnared two more young women, continuing his twisted cycle. Just when it seems all hope is lost, Katie and Sloan arrive and strike him from behind, knocking him out cold. Now, the hunters become the hunted. Tying him up, the two force him into a sadistic game of Russian roulette, taunting him with each click of the trigger. It's clear that Katie and Sloan are no longer the same women they once were, scarred, unhinged, but fueled by vengeance. The sheriff desperately begs for mercy, stammering apologies that fall on deaf ears. Finally, Katie delivers the finishing blow, executing him with a single shot to the head. After the brutal execution of the sheriff, Katie and Sloan untie the captive women and instruct them to free Jason. When Jason finally regains his freedom, he tries to ask who killed the sheriff, but the women stay silent out of respect and gratitude for Katie and Sloan, who had saved their lives. The story then shifts as Katie and Sloan set their sights on unfinished business. They make their way to the home of Jed and Luca's mother, deciding to give her the same treatment she had once given them. Slipping drugs into her drink, they incapacitate her, then drag her down to the basement. There, she finds Jed already tied up and gagged, helpless. The women show no mercy, beating him to death with baseball bats while forcing his mother to watch every blow. Their vengeance doesn't end there. They then bring the woman to another room where Lucas sits bound to a chair, but instead of killing him outright, they untie him, shove a bat into his hands, and order him to bludgeon his own mother. When he refuses, Katie and Sloan execute him on the spot with a bullet to the head. To cover their tracks, they stage the scene to make it look like Lucas murdered his mother before taking his own life. Desperate and terrified, the mother makes one final attempt to save herself, offering money for her freedom. But Katie coldly rejects the plea. In a gruesome finale, she fires up a lawnmower and slaughters the woman with it, leaving nothing but carnage behind. In the closing scene, time has passed. Uncle Jason arrives at Katie's home to pick her and Sloan up. There's no trace of the horrors left behind. Instead, the girls appear carefree, as though everything they endured has only bonded them closer. Jason drives them to the airport, where the two finally set off, brimming with excitement for their long-dreamed trip to New York City. If you enjoyed this video, don't be shy to hit the like button, and if you disliked it, hit the dislike button twice, just to be sure. It would be best if you watched the whole movie. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe for more videos like this.